Hello, Aries. How are you? Today is August 17th, Sunday. I made it back early enough to be able to get a reading in. New beginnings. Hope everyone is doing so well. I had the best vacation. I can't remember the last time I had a vacation where I was just able to shut everything off and just enjoy being there. And it was great. So I hope everyone else is enjoying the last few days of Leo season, because the sun moves into Virgo this week. And that is usually a very quick shift, strong energy change, because we go from basically hang out by the beach to tackling our life to-do list. There's a Virgo new moon immediately after that shift happens. So this is a great time to start new health routines, go get those annual checkups, start saying, okay, I'm going to try this year, I'm going to be vegan, or this year I'm going to do no carb, whatever. This is great energy, especially under that new moon, to put those things in motion. So let's go ahead and get started with the cards for the week. What is the overall energy for the Aries watching this video for the week of August 17th? Okay, undecided. One card, please. All right, there we go. Okay, interesting. Flexibility. I'm going to take a look at what this says about that. Okay, the meaning of this card is rich and varied. Yeah, it didn't seem very straightforward. It cautions you to be flexible in your life. Be willing to bend and yield. There are times to stand strong, but there are also times to go around a situation rather than face it head on. This card suggests being amenable to change. It's also a fantastic card for abundance and prosperity, and it suggests that if you are flexible, prosperity can and will come in all areas. Additionally, it suggests that a time of rapid growth is ahead, so don't resist it. This is a time for a growth of a surge of spiritual growth to occur. So yes, so you can see there's kind of, I don't know why, but it's reminding me of those gates at the end of the, not the death, is it the death card? Yeah, the death card. Going through this tunnel and moving into, there's also another one in the Zen show where it's like kind of coming out of a dark space, moving into the light, stronger, bolder, wiser, but without, think of like tires being able to sort of move relatively nimbly. Is this in focus? There we go. To move relatively nimbly, and run once chased, or go after their prey, like what they've been paying attention to, and be able to move towards it very quickly. But that also kind of requires a little bit of stealth and observation and waiting for the right time. Let's get the challenge energy. Right, like how a tiger hunts isn't a rigid process. It changes depending on the prey, depending on the weather, depending on where it finds itself. Okay, so wouldn't be a reading if I didn't have to fish out the card. Okay, so the challenge energy is major arcana. This is the world card. So beyond illusion. So being able to see beyond what's obvious. This may be, since this is in the challenge position, and what this card calls for is the ability to see. Sorry, there's a weird noise in there. Continues. Oh, I guess it's my cat. To be able to see things in a different way, or to not be rigid. Sorry, I don't know what she's doing. It's so weird. To not be rigid in your perception or understanding, right? That there may be, especially when this talks about spiritual growth, that there may be a deeper meaning to things. There may be a bigger plan. And so it says, especially with this one, to not be rigid in your thinking, and to remember that all may not be as it seems on the surface, right? And so to really be able to sort of tap into your energy of feeling beyond. Why did I brought out too many decks? I was going to do the other one, but maybe I'll pull both of them. Let's go ahead and get the lesson card. What is the lesson for the week of August 17th for the Aries watching this video? Yeah, okay, that's a little too many. I just need the one. Thank you. I was so relaxed that when I got into the taxi this morning, I forgot my address. Can I get the lesson energy for the week of August 17th, please? Okay, it keeps wanting to give me a lot. Just one card, please. Let's take two. All right, so this discovery card comes up here with the guilt card. And if we remember here, this discovery card is realizing that something is not for you, or that no matter how much you want it to be, it can't, because it's just something different than what you're looking for. And instead of trying to work hard out of a sense of guilt, maybe this can be like working really hard for, like, the first thing that came to me was working very hard for love, for people that feel that they have to do so much, like work overtime out of a sense of guilt, maybe, to try and make things happen, even past the point of knowing that it's out of your control, right? That's kind of what this card is about. See, he's got the hands up here, that there's really nothing you can do about this. And so so there may be a situation that like is stalled or is stuck or is not moving, and you may be trying to, which would be very Virgo energy, to, like, maybe if I just work harder, maybe I didn't put in enough time, maybe if I just tried it this way, maybe if I did that, despite all observable evidence to the contrary, that it's not your fault, that it's not in your power, it's just not possible, it's not happening, and you feel like you haven't put in enough effort. And actually, so a very specific story is coming to my mind right now. I have this girl who sometimes comes and house sits with me, or for me, when I travel. And she just started a few years ago getting into the whole esoteric world. And she's from Mexico. She lives in Mexico. She had studied here in Italy for a while. And so sometimes she comes back and spends the summer in Europe. And when we met, we started talking about all this stuff. And she told me that she just started doing astrocartography, which is the location, what is the ideal location for you. And within a week of her starting it, she had like a huge flow of clients. And as I've spoken to her, because she came from marketing like me, or as I spoke to her over the years, she was able to turn that very, very easily into a full-time business, to the point that she stopped working for, like, as a marketing executive, and now does this full time. Now, I can't tell you how many times I have tried or wanted to make this my full-time job, and it never worked out, right? And I always thought, okay, well, maybe I'm not doing enough. Maybe I have to do it this way. Maybe I have to do it that way. And trying to do things that were uncomfortable for me, right? I don't like reading for all the signs. And when I did, especially the Virgo ones, they would always get really offended. And so it came to the point where, despite the fact that I actually like wanted to do it or hoped to do it, that the way that it just wasn't for me. And the universe had given me enough signs that, girl, it's not going to happen, right? And so I was clearly needed elsewhere, doing other things. But no matter how hard I tried, right? And sometimes I felt like guilty. Oh, I'm not doing it enough. I'm not taking it seriously enough. I'm not studying enough. I haven't put in the hours of, there needs to be bigger, better, yada, yada, yada. It just didn't click. And then I have this other girl who, like, literally the second day she started doing it, had enough clients that she does this full time. So sometimes it's not your fault. It's just not your path. And right? And that's why we have to be flexible and be able to read the signs of what is and what isn't for us, without a sense of like, oh, it's my fault. I didn't put in the time. I didn't put in the work. If only I'd done more. This is really about an acceptance and understanding and the ability to read how the universe guides your path, and blocks, obstacles are just as much a part of that as our doors flying open. Now, sometimes we have to knock on 150 doors before it flies open. But even with my app, when I tried to do that, and I did it out of, I was like, oh, well, the universe wants me to like learn this and help people and whatever. And I was doing it, and there was just like, despite all of my efforts, despite everything, it just didn't work out. And at a certain point I was like, listen, I've been in business long enough to know that if in a year you haven't had this much progression, it's unlikely it's going to happen. At least not now. And so sometimes, you have to walk away. You have to make the choice to move on to something new. Will they or won't they? What do you want to do? Do you want to stay here? Are you going to eat that? Or are you going to start a new race, right? So sometimes it gives you choices. Let's get 2 more cards. And knowing how to read the choices or accept that it's not you, right? Instead of trying to hold on to it out of a sense of like, I didn't do enough, or I owe this person, or, oh, I've been at this company for so long, even though they're not paying me what I should, even though like I got another job offer, and even though I love this company, or guilt tripping yourself into staying put. If that's happening, that needs to go, and you need to understand that the dynamics of the situation, if you look at them with a different perspective, are there for a specific reason, to force you to move on and to move forward, but to move forward successfully towards success, right? This guy's prepared. He's ready to go. He's got everything he needs to head into battle. But he has to make the choice and let go of whatever it is. I have to cover this because I would love to use this picture, but if there's any nudity, YouTube comes with a little that was not right at all. There we go. So there's a choice right now that needs to be made for you. And the answer is to sort of let go, open up. Remember, that was the first card here, flexibility. Don't be stuck in your thinking. To open up and allow yourself to move forward into something that's more successful. All right, so I'm going to do 2 cards for advice because I pulled out too many decks. So there must be a reason. Let's go ahead and get 1 card from this one. Okay. This is so 25, 7. 7 is a number of spiritual, right? And this card here talked about spiritual growth, as did this one. And this goes from the 6 to the 7 in major arcana, so in like higher order evolution, if you open up. And this card here says that somewhere energetically, emotionally, romantically, mentally, you have been going around and around and around the same thing, potentially out of a sense of guilt, and it's keeping you stuck, right? And now it's time to move forward. But the only way you can do that, I talked about this once before, right? You just have to move 1 degree each step to suddenly find yourself in a completely different place. So let's see 1 more card here of advice. But everything, this card promises a future of abundance. And I'm looking at this form here, that repeats, of this kind of arch there. Kind of like a flame energy, sacred flame energy. And not wasting. I had one reader say to me that you have, especially as an Aries, this sacred fire inside of you. And you can waste it on people, places, things that don't deserve it. And it goes out, right? It can feel like it's going out. But because it has to be spent in the right way. And you guys know I love my Taylor Swift. So she had this great sentence the other day, which we've said in numerous different ways, but I love how she articulated it, which she says, you want to think of your energy as a luxury good. Not everyone can afford it, right? So who are you allowing to buy your time? And are they appreciating it? Are they respecting the value of your time, energy, and passion? By this 4 of Pentacles, I would say no. Okay, ooh, all right. Hecate and Micah, Crossroads of Destiny. Let me read this to you. This is the wrong book. Let me see if I can find it quickly, because that would be funny. Where is it? How did I get the wrong book? You can see I haven't been home in a while. Should be here? No. Sorry, today's a little bit of a mess. Welcome to the creative chaos. That's not it. I have to find, because these descriptions are so good. But like, why don't I have it? That's so bizarre. Sorry. This is so weird that it's not here. All right, well, I'm gonna have to I'll find it and type it. I have no idea where this book could be, which is weird because I wonder if somebody was touching my books. Yeah, sorry. So sorry for the cliffhanger there. I will read this. I will find this book and read it to you. We are leaving on a crossroads, a cliffhanger, literally a cliffhanger. of what this is meant. I wonder if I can pause this. Hold on. Okay, so I found it, but as I learned with my camera, if the lock screen goes on, the pause stops working. So I'm going to have to edit these two together. Anyway, it had fallen behind there, and I had to go look for it, right? Stay flexible. So here's what it says. We bring you the empowerment of the crossroad of destiny. Remember, there's also a choice on the table. You are at a pivotal point on your life journey. This may be obvious to you with a potentially life-changing decision before you, or you may not realize the impact that an apparently insignificant choice is going to have on your future. Either way, you are at a point where you can leave the past behind and chart your course for a new adventurous chapter to begin in your life. This is not something you need to be frightened of. It's a sign you are progressing on your path. Remember, the 6 goes to the 7 when it moves forward, right? When it releases itself, when it changes, opens itself up. The crossroad of destiny happens when you have mastered a cycle in your life and a new cycle is before you. It's an opportunity that you can take best advantage of by listening to your heart. All right, there's a certain comfort in familiarity. The world you have been living in has some sort of boundary, some degree of predictability, and certain things, people, or situations you can rely upon to behave in particular ways. These familiarities can be a way you choose to feel secure, even if you know deep within that life is always evolving, and so are you, and that things need to change to stay fresh, healthy, and inspired. The truth is, familiarity doesn't really create security. Your mind likes to think it does, but this is an illusion. Where am I? All things change in time. That is natural law. What you and your mind need to remember is that you can choose to feel secure even through changing circumstances that lead you towards an unknown world. The unknown world will eventually become known to you with its own boundaries and some degree of predictability and familiarity until again, change knocks on your door or kicks it down, and you are facing another crossroad in your life, needing to make decisions that will affect your future. I'm going to move down. Okay, so this oracle comes to you with a message. Let all your choices come from your heart, right? Not out of guilt. If it feels right for your heart and there is joy there, even if you have to search beneath all the what if something goes wrong fears of the mind to find it, then do it. If you've recently made such a decision and are waiting to see if the sky is going to fall in on top of you, this oracle affirms that you've crossed the threshold into a new way and that it's time to leave the fears of the past behind you. If you are feeling that you need a crossroad, a choice point to help you shift out of a habitual way of being that has become stifling to you, that you need a change to broaden your horizons or to try something different, then the oracle affirms this. You can always choose to try and continue with life as it is, even though in due course it will change and take you along with it. Or you can be the spiritual adventurer along your own untraveled path, knowing that the Divine Mother watches over you and will protect, assist, and guide you as you find your way. It's safe to trust the call to new life you feel inside. It's your destiny urging you forward into so much grace. Okay, so wow, what an intense reading. Big choice there. Remember, don't let someone keep you stuck out of a sense of guilt. Don't let yourself stay stuck even well after you've realized that this isn't it. It just takes a little bit of opening to create the opening and to be able to move forward. And sometimes things may not go according to plan, much like this reading, but it doesn't mean that you can't bring it home anyway. Okay. Hope you guys are doing great. I don't even know what I'm saying at this point. I will see you next week. Have a great week. Take care.